Welcome back to you, baby dolls. You are a very yummy blueberry pie, and today we are pumping the music because we haven't crashed yet. Or are we going to crash? We've got a lot to cover today. There are a lot of things going on. Unfortunately, none of them involve news. But do you even really care? You don't really care. We're seeing the prices go up. That's all we really care about. Chainlink around $11. It's doing this nice squeezy pattern going through. Bitcoin is still on the second green monthly candle. That's what we want to see. A lot of people have been calling for lower prices, so we're going to fake out. Of course we can fake out, but we are not anywhere near in a danger zone unless you start getting repeated green monthly candles. That's the danger. Now, I don't want to jinx it. Why? In the stock market, it can go green, one red, one green, and that's the top, and then see you later. The stock market can do that. In crypto, we don't have that. It's human emotions. It feeds on top of itself. Look at the 2021 bull market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in a row. Green, bang. Very important. This is also the plus token Ponzi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the top. We are now on green candle number 2. That's it. Nothing to worry about. If we got another 2 more, all right, we got to really consider some things. But hey, if we get another red candle, we can consider it like a nice little reset. ETH BTC is still at the bottom of the range. I want to remind you that usually right before the Bitcoin halving, the fourth quarter of the year has a weak ETH BTC. Look at this. Spot box here and box here. Just weak. Don't know why. It is what it is. Also interesting, real DeFi, Pulse Chain, and Hex. The Pulse to Hex ratio is also exhibiting weakness. It was always my theory, speculation, that Pulse versus Hex would be the same as ETH versus BC, and they are. ETH versus BTC, and it's cool to see that. We've also got Ethereum. It doesn't really matter. You know, Ethereum is liquidity linked to Bitcoin. We want to see this Ethereum above 2100. Right now, it's in the diddle zone. But Ethereum's still got its third cycle curse. I wonder where it's going to go from here. Of course, if history repeats, the friendship time for Ethereum will begin January and February of next year. It just starts going up. The ETH BTC, for some reason, just doesn't tell anybody. It just goes, see you later, what is going on? Look at this. Down here, bang. Starts going up. Also, if you go back as well to 2016, to 2015, right into 2016, look at this. January, February, see you later. See that? There's some sort of January, February effect when everyone knows, oh, it's a Bitcoin halving year, let's get in. It's kind of cool to see. Also, you might have just 2 months left to collect altcoins before they really start leaving the zone of zones. Doesn't mean they're going to go nuclear to the sky, but it's just something to be considerate about. This is the total altcoin index. You can see here, it's still in the middle of the range. Personally, this is on average, remember, this is the total altcoin index. It includes a lot of poop like Litecoin and other coins as well. Once we go above this box, that's it. I think it's pretty much we're done. When are we going to go above the box? I don't know. Hopefully around the Bitcoin halving or higher or earlier. Once we're leaving, that tells you on average, most coins are what I would now consider no longer in the super cheap depression zone. Most alts, on average, once it enters this box, they would now be in the medium zone. What does a medium zone mean? It just means I would never buy anything straight up market, just being honest. I'd put like a moving average on a daily or a weekly, and I will just sit there. Or I would also wait for some sort of sell-off event where everyone's losing their minds. Personally, I wouldn't want to hit market just because I just don't trust this market at all, friends. But this is just something I would consider as it moves up. Hopefully, you've spent the past 1.5 years accumulating enough that you don't need to keep market buying. But I understand a lot of people, you're working real jobs, you got salaries coming in. That's okay. But I would personally just keep it on the side. I don't trust this area at all. Why? It's because of the break-even point. When we get into that area, you're going to be fighting all the weak hands from Bitcoin. The average price for Bitcoin in this zone is about $37,000. So with Bitcoin hitting 37,000 to 40K, that is the break-even point for many bag holders. And what they're going to be doing is when the price goes up, they're going to be absorbing it. They're going to be waking up. You know, they're going to hear, oh, Bitcoin's up. Let me go check my portfolio. You know, there's a lot of people that don't check anything. They just literally don't look at it all. They're going to look at their number and they're like, oh, remember I put in 40K back then and it went down to like 15 and I was really scared. Oh, well, it's back up to 40. See you later. I'm out. They're going to do that. And that is going to just suck up everybody's demand. Also, we have to worry about this for altcoins, but I guess it really depends which altcoin you're thinking about. That's why that total altcoin index is going to be a good idea. So if that total altcoin index goes up, you get a rough estimate as to when the danger zone begins. Chainlink as Bug Eater DeFi is still around $11 here. It's still great to see that it's going up. I know I've noticed a lot of people on Twitteroonies starting to talk about Link, but they're not super long-term believers. Only some of them are. A lot are just like talking about it just because it's gone up. They just see it at the top of the list. Once they say it is the future of finance, it might be over, all right? We've also got Pulse, Real DeFi. Pulse is still around 40 to 55% below day one sack. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We've also got PulseX still here. Just to let you know, I did make a recent video that you like, subscribe, belly button, all to, and you shock the algorithm. I made a recent video here, portfolio update. And I just want to clarify. So what I did is I lowered my weight. So we go to PulseX, Pulse, right? I lowered my weight in EHEX and PHEX. So I rotated from EHEX plus PHEX to add more Pulse plus PulseX. And then new ratio, this is just me if I was starting. I'll do 67% Pulse plus PulseX, 33% EHEX plus PHEX. The numbers aren't going to matter too much, but we've just hit an extreme point of the ratio. This is just what I've done. So if you wanted to participate, I'm not telling you to copy me or do anything. That's just the mindset I've done because I've seen, okay, Hex is now recovered. Sweet. It's not going to zero. There's been a big pump. The ratios are starting to get hugely disconnected. Okay, I'm happy with this. If Hex keeps staying strong against Pulse and PulseX and it disconnects it even harder, well, sweet. I will keep adding more. I know this is very contrarian what I've just said because many people believe Hex is just going to keep accelerating value against Pulse and PulseX. I don't think so because of the ETH-BTC ratio. If you tell me that, then you basically tell me ETH-BTC goes all the way down, but I don't believe that's the future. I believe digital rock Bitcoin is great, but people want smart contract, added risk, added premium on top of that. And if you want to know how you can actually look at what you need to look at, friends, go to dexscreener.com, type in hex/PLS, go to this liquidity pool, the Hex WPLS pool. Go to the top here. See, switch to price in Pulse. That gives you the ratio. So I don't want to show them in USD. Just switch to price in Pulse. Now, this is what everybody charts, but I don't like it. Why? Because it's Hex over Pulse. This is like saying Bitcoin over Ethereum. And its price right now is 19. So nobody says, oh, one Bitcoin's 19 Ethereum. I don't like using that ratio. I want to put the big daddy on the bottom. The one that's the baseless risk. The one that's basically the world currency standard, if you will. Okay, so what you'll do is you go to the three dots in the top right. I'll move it in here. The three dots while we listen to bizarre objects, friends. These are the bizarre ratios going on. We will invert the pair. So you do it upside down. Now we have something sexy. This is what I like to see. Like I made the video right here. This is what I want. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's going down. Yeah, exactly. Give it to me. Give it to me raw. That's what she said. I want cheap prices. What do you want? You want to buy when it's high? Of course you do. That's why I know you want to buy when it's high. You can go to the EHEX PHEX ratio. And this is what people were doing. Okay, so they were selling this bottom. But what I'm going to show you now, this is PHEX divided by EHEX. So people just love buying this top. They just love buying it. They love buying tops and saying it's the future, it's the future. The other thing's trash. It's the future, it's the future. Bang, see you later in your face. So this is the ratio here. And I want to remind you, look, it's not the end of the world. It's not like there's an enormous ratio difference. But if, like I'm going to use a number here. I'm not going to assume that you got your average price down here. But if you got, let's use the middle of the range. If this price eventually by the end of next year goes up to here, that's plus 100%. But what did you make? You made plus 100% on your Hex. in 1 year if this works out with low risk, liquidity bonded. So it's another way to earn yield. But you're thinking, oh, why doesn't everybody do it? Well, one, there's no leverage. And two, it takes time. And three, a lot of people can't handle if this goes lower. They're like, oh my gosh, so now, see if it goes down to this price, you have now lost. You can actually figure it out here. You've lost 43% of your hex. So if you had, let's say you converted 1 million hex here, and then the price went down here, you would only be able, if you paper-handed, which is what people did in E-hex and P-hex, you would only get back, instead of 1 million hex you start off with, now you'd only have 600,000. Ouch. Or is it ouch? That's what happens, man. It's cheap prices. This is what ratios do. But this is just something I've done. So we're waiting to see as well Bitcoin and how it's traversing across the lands of the Ponzi cycle. And here we are looking at that fractal right now. I'm about to re-put it back on. You can have a look at where we're meant to be. We're actually exactly where we are supposed to be. If we keep going up, it's a 42K flush up and then a dump. But I want to remind you, back in 2016, this was, see this yellow part? This yellow part is the Bitcoin halvening dump. So it's a Bitcoin halvening front run and then the dump. Ours is going to be in April, actually here. But hey, it can happen. It's front running. And we've got the Roca Negra ETF, so anything is possible. I wouldn't be concerned until Bitcoin prints 40K. I don't even care if it touches 38, 39. I don't think altcoins are going to go far enough for us to be worried. I want to be worried when the bears capitulate. How high does Bitcoin need to go to capitulate bears? It's something to think about. It's very interesting, isn't it? The way I see it, well, if Bitcoin can print a $50,000 mark, just a 5 in front, okay, bears capitulate. Or maybe 40 is enough. I guess we'll see. Also, baby does, I wanted to cover this. So there is a kind of Pulse Chain Hex community member. He made his own coin. So TitanX. And what's happened is it's just another standard. I don't know if we'll call it a hex and a Zen clone. I don't know what it is. Just you put your money in, you get token inflation, and then you dump. That's basically the premise of everything, right? Now, the token went up. People speculated on it. People said, yeah, it's great. It's going to keep going up. And I noticed those flashing warning signs because the people who were bragging about their wins, they were up like 100x, but not really because their tokens weren't given to them yet. So the inflation hadn't come out. Now, this is why I mentioned this post saying, here we go again. So I want you to know, in 2024, there's going to be a lot of coins coming out. And maybe the win rate's going to be 1%. It's really tough, man. So I want you to know, no matter what somebody puts in the code, that code you're looking at, or the game theory, it's not enough to make it go up by itself. You need more. So that's why I've said here we go again. I'm not sure how many times a market has to see these before they grasp it. Okay, so you can actually look at the live price right now. It went up and it went down. As well, you might say, well, you know, I want to buy it. There's a price too low for everything. There's a few people on Twitter that were bragging about their stakes for this. They said, like, basically, even at this price, they're still 3.8x in profit. So that kind of tells you, once you know people are still in profit and they haven't been tested, then, you know, okay, well, the people like that, they're willing to dump like another 70% down to here. You see this? So this price is 509493. Maybe if it gets to 3 and people just want their money back, that's when you start thinking about, okay, you know, does it ever have to really get there? No, but you're gonna have to see overwhelming demand come in to justify it first. Now, this is the important part. Handing out inflation from a token, you need a lot more than just tokenomics and game theory. I've seen so many coins, thousands and thousands. I've made all my videos here to tell you the community is the asset, not the code. Therefore, you've got to groom, brainwash, motivate, basically revere the community. You got to pump up the community, make a cult. That's what you need. You need a community effort. You need a cult mentality. You need constant delivery of the message. You got to prove this is money. What you're looking at right now shouldn't be sold. This is money. There is not enough game theory out that you can't do the game theory. Why? Because the nature of liquidity and market cap. That's why. Because there's only enough doors for 1 people out of 30 to exit. the average coin and stock only has about 3% of its market cap in liquidity. What does that mean? That means if you go and ask 30 people in a house how much money they have in a coin, they'll tell you their number. You add it all up, and then you go outside, you say to yourself, wait a minute. Those 30 people think they all have that amount of money and they feel good, but only one person can actually exit. This is the same in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Apple stock, everything. Now, these are imaginary horribles. Not everybody exits all the time, but I'm just telling you, when it comes to new coins, the probability of more people exiting than entering just becomes higher because it's unproven. So you also need to see big whales stepping up the game. They have to absorb the inflation. They have to take away the supply. They have to bring prices up. This is what Richard Hart did with Hex at the early days. You ever won the wink, wink? Oh, golly gee, what happened there? Did somebody come in and like swoop it and just take the supply off the market? Could be him, could be his friends, could be an entity, could be a religious priest, a squirrel and a duck, but that's what you need, man. That's actually the best thing to do. It's to demonstrate to the market. They say, you know, this is the lower part we're looking at here. It's to demonstrate to the market, hey, you see those coins over there on the supermarket shelf? Give me all of them. I want all of them and I'm never selling anything. That is the biggest boss move you could do. That's how you demonstrate to the market this is real. But you need serious firepower, don't you? So, you know, me and you can't go do it. What? You're like $1,000, even a 10 grand, even 100 grand is enough to do it. I would say not even really $1 million. If you want to make this thing big, not even really $1 million is going to do much. Because $1 million just by itself, you're going to push it in, people are going to exit, you got nothing left. You ran out of firepower. Hope you're learning now. Oh, by the way, friends, I know some people, psychos, they're going to try and make a cult and stuff for the next cycle. Good luck. I hope it works out. I'm just telling you, you can't sleep. I'm telling you, you can't break character. You are the cult leader 24 hours a day. You go out, you go shopping, you go to family events. Nah, it doesn't turn off. You break character, it's over. All right. Satoshi's always Satoshi. Vitalik's always Vitalik. Now, remember, so Hex had Richard Hart bootstrapping the system. So when it comes to TitanX or Zen or anything, like this is where the risk is, right? It's like, well, I don't know how rich you really are. You tell me you're rich, but I don't really know. I know you're like saying, well, what's richness got to do with it? Isn't it about the code? Well, now you understand. No. You want someone to not only just be emotionally invested, but financially invested. That's how you can sniff out whether the institution, the entity, the founder is real about it or not. That's why, you know, unless, of course, you're a unicorn. Bitcoin, first of its kind. Ethereum, first of its kind. Now, you might say, oh, we're the next Ethereum. I doubt it, man. I doubt it. I'll give you like less than 0.1% chance. If someone's got something big, you'll see it. So it's not so easy to keep the dream alive, is it? It really is a full-time job and commitment to do these. But I'm just going to tell you, okay, so not bringing any hate. I'm just telling you, there's going to be more coins. This is just the start of it. But if you're here to play, let's say we know these coins. We're like, you know what? I don't think anyone really believes in this. I think they're going to be out in the next 6, 12, 18 months. I reckon Bitcoin 60K is a nice target. We're thinking that to ourselves, or Bitcoin 70,000 when it's around there. Okay, I'm going to start getting out. If you're thinking that in your mind, please make sure you have multiple DCA points. So let's say I want to put $500 in. Okay, how about you put in 150 and then you say, all right, I'll give it another few weeks. I know most people aren't going to do that. But I'm just telling you, consider that's how you like avoid damage over time. Also, you protect yourself. How? We already planned for this. We have lottery-sized bullets. How many times I told you, you got 90% core, 90, 95%, and you got like 10% of the lottery. That's what we want. Maybe as the bull market heats up, you allocate a bit more to lottery, but if you stay with this mindset, you're able to survive over time. Don't forget, all right, you know this. There's a demand side to the equation. There's D, and then there's S, all right? When they launch coins like this, so someone launches coin, okay, here we go, yay, it's Hex clone, but we're not going to say it. There's game theory and tokenomics, all right? There's no demand, all right? There's no proven demand at all, okay? This is a question mark. So I'll just put a question mark next to this D. Question mark here. But the supply side, that's guaranteed. The supply side, you know for a fact, there's a lot of people, they want their 2x. They'll take their 3x. They'll take their 2x. They'll take a 30%, man. I know meme coin traders, if people are up 30% in a trade, they'll take out 3/4 of the position. And they go, oh, sweet, I got a free moon bag just in case it goes 100x. That's how they think. But that dump pressure keeps everything gravity on the way down. So there's a lot of supply. New coin, or I want to quickly get out on the open, cover my initial. So you need evidence or belief. You need to speculate on the demand part. Of course, if there weren't so many coins in crypto, part of your demand speculation could be what I did in 2021. I said, well, I think Bitcoin's going above 100K, which I thought it was, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay long. It doesn't really matter. You didn't need Bitcoin to go to 100K. The coin still went up. A lot of the coins still went up. But what about when it comes to the world where now there's 100,000 altcoins, there's 10,000 a month being launched, you got a 1% win rate of picking anything that goes up or keeping everybody's attention because there's a new shiny thing next week, next month. Well, now you need more evidence of demand. That's why, how much money does the founder have? How much money is the founder going to buy? Is the founder going to pump up the tokens? Is there people with long-term mindset? That's what you have to figure out yourself. That's what we're going to have to figure out. Don't forget, there's not always going to be long-term mindset people. We could be buying pure, absolute trash Pikachu junk. By the way, Pikachu's not trash, okay? Just maybe one of the coins, okay? I'm just telling you, we love Pikachu here. And that's what might be on our agenda for 2024. But for now, just be careful when it comes to these. Don't think what you've discovered is the future of finance, okay? The real discovery is the megaphone. Okay, it's the megaphone. It's like, okay, how many content creators are there? That's why contrarian views, friends. When it comes to PulseX, for example, wow, PulseChain's doing $37 million of volume, and it's 12 times cheaper than Solana, which has done $36 million of volume. Think about that. We are the same volume rank as Solana in PulseChain land, and it's hated, and it's contrarian, and Richard Hart has SEC FUD. You have all these things saying you are way too cheap than you should be. That's what contrarian is, right? Finding stuff that are cheap. You got a loud megaphone, and it's a cult, but people are still talking about Solana. That's good. That's what we want. That's how we know when the market eventually switches. See, this is different. I'm not telling you, okay, the PulseChain code or anything is great. I'm just telling you there's a community there with a big megaphone. That's what you have to think about when you approach new coins that appear. And like I said, friends, at the end of the day, look, I even made this post right under. What price do we bid? So just to tell you, you know what? If you see some sort of resemblance of a community, there is a price too low for everything. But don't jump the gun. And you might find when the price too low comes, you might be saying, no, I don't really want to touch this anyway because there's a new shiny thing coming next month. You see that? Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, all. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Tell mom and dad you love and appreciate them too. Catch you soon.